The Pet's Life with Gym Dog, Ireland's first pet resort by Des the Vet. Managed by vets, loved by pets. Daycare, vet care, premium pet food and grooming. Visit at petslife.ie.
And a very good morning to you, and welcome to the 11 to 3 for today, Tuesday it is, and it's time for our It's a Pet's Life for Gym Dog, and Des is with us as well, and a very good morning to you, Des.
Yeah, good, John. Great to be here, thanks.
Yeah, good. And I suppose there's
You're keeping an eye on the rugby there, on the screen beside you.
Well, I'm not watching them. I'm looking at the feed from the rolling updates, but at the moment it's 14-0. They're doing okay, I suppose. Yeah, it's good. It's great. Okay, so let's turn our attentions to all things matter that's to do with the animals. We were continuing on where we left off last week, really. It's all to do with cats and human health. Why the connection? What's cats and human health?
Because increasingly now cats are more and more domesticated. There are more and more cats living indoors. And there's an array of diseases that people can catch from cats. So I hate to be alarmist. I love to promote the bond between pet owners and their pet. But there's a thing called zoonosis, which is the infection you can catch from animals. And there are loads of common things that indoor cats do carry. So people who want to have cats, I want them to be educated and to understand what they need to do to have a cat safely indoors.
Okay, so, will plenty of cats stay indoors? They like staying indoors? Or is that just against their nature?
It's a kind of against their nature, but out of necessity, as our towns and cities become more and more built up, many people are just choosing to keep their cats indoors all the time. So apartment dwellers, it mightn't be suitable if you're on the first or second floor to let the cat out at all, which is a pity.
But is it certain types of cats?
Yeah, so some cats it doesn't suit in any shape or form. I told you a story a couple of weeks ago about a male cat who had been born in the wild, and he was, for all intents and purposes, half feral. But he ended up living in an apartment with a lady and never really settled and displayed a lot of aggressive and stress-related behaviours all his life.
Yeah.
Some house cats, no, they're very chilled, they're very happy, and they love their environment. And they can become as domesticated as dogs. Domestication is on a spectrum. It all depends on what their experiences in their early lives as kittens actually really it turns out to be.
Yeah.
Well, what about the cat in Berlin I was going to tell you about?
Yeah, I was going to say that. You had a good story about that. Smart cat.
Funny story about a smart cat. So this cat is called Milo, and he lives in an apartment in Berlin with his owners up on the third floor, so he can't get out much. But these people have a lovely big spacious, I suppose, studio apartment you'd call it. Yeah. So he has a great old life for himself. And one of these modern new apartment blocks, and it's fully fitted out, as the whole block is, with smart technology.
Right, yeah.
So it's one of these smart houses where you can literally say, turn on the lights, turn off the lights, and everything's on a sensor and everything's motion guided and voice activated.
Right, okay.
So Milo has figured out the environment, and he gets the zoomies at night.
He gets the what?
Now, this is a word people started using in the surgery to me about their cats about a year or two ago, and I'd never heard it before. But there's a thing called zoomies. Cats get the zoomies.
Okay, right.
Right?
So I thought they were going to say that they're logging in and setting up a Zoom meeting. Come on.
Well, yeah.
It's a bit like that, anyway.
So they're a bit nocturnal.
Yeah.
So this type of a surge or a burst of activity and good humour and the mood to have fun and get their exercise, it happens dawn and dusk for cats, and it corresponds to their evolutionary history of hunting at dawn and dusk. So the theory is that lots of little prey species don't see very well and are a bit sluggish and are less active at dawn and dusk.
Right, okay.
And the type of frequency that cats have in their eyes are especially attuned to when light is poor. So they can pounce and hunt at dawn and dusk. Right. And they get the zoomies. They get more active at this time.
Okay, cool about
that. So 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning corresponds to dusk, we'll say, for Milo. And obviously his family are still asleep in their beds in their apartment. Yeah. And he has figured out how to activate all the controls in the house, all the smart controls, right? And he turns the lights to a nice kind of a calming filter of an orangey blue that he likes, right? And he turns on the music. Right. And he opens up the cupboard doors and gets in and has his treats.
Right.
So, for all intents and purposes, he has a little concert for himself. He has a little dance routine.
Yeah.
And he gets his breakfast. between 3 and 4 a.m.
Gets his own breakfast.
Yes. And so they set up cameras because they knew this was happening. They didn't want to interfere with his life, and they filmed it and recorded it, and it's gone viral.
Of course it has gone
We
viral.
can see Milo's routine now, what he does. He walks to certain places in the room and taps the floor until the motion sensor is activated, and he goes to the cupboard doors and he taps the doors until the sensors are activated, and he's it all figured out, knows how to open cupboards, open doors, turn on and off the music, turn on and off the lights, and he can turn on and off his water.
Right.
So he's clever as can be. So the psychologists have looked at this anyway, the animal psychologists, suppose, animal behaviourists, right?
And that's just a cat. Imagine if it was a chimpanzee or something.
If it was a chimpanzee, he'd probably be
out the door,
the janitor
on the janitor.
He'd be the janitor for the whole block, wouldn't he?
He would be. He would be able to turn on the elevator, go down and have a run around and come back up in the middle of that.
He would. Yeah, so some animal behaviourists.
And that's a cat. And cats are not notorious for being kind of the world's cleverest people.
No, they're not that socials where, they're solitary and they do their own thing. But he opens the cupboards, the whole works. So the animal behaviour says that he's showing intelligence and he's showing a capacity for strategic planning.
Strategic planning.
Strategic
a cat with
planning.
Strategic planning.
There you go. That's Milo for you, yeah.
Milo the cat.
Milo is a Maine Coon, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Well,
do you know what they are?
Yes, I do. My son wants one.
Yeah, a giant cat, a giant breed.
It's kind of... Now, they're very much an indoor...
They are. Tell you a story about Maine Coons.
Go on.
Actually,
they're
I had
fabulous
one
animals.
They are fabulous animals. So, there was a lady years ago who bred Maine Coons in the region of Monasterevin.
Yeah.
In the area. And I used to see quite a lot of local people with lovely Maine Coon kittens. Less so now recently, so maybe the lady in question
somebody over in Port Arlington does it as well.
There is indeed. So something that I still see to this day, one of those Maine Coons evidently was a stud cat, and obviously he was used to breed these lovely pedigree kittens, and he used to go out for his wanders and out for his hunts, and he would meet the local ladies, you see, when he was out on his travels. And to this day, quite a lot of stray kittens and semi-feral kittens that come into me from the Monasterevin to Port Arlington area, that little neck of the woods, are half Maine Coon or part Maine Coon.
Yeah.
So if you happen to come across, if you're living in that part of the county, you happen to come across a litter of kittens and they're a bit oversized, right? That's because their granddad or even their great-grandfather was a Maine Coon stud tomcat.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mad.
There you go.
They're very gentile, aren't they?
They're lovely cats. They're very sociable. I had one in the other day, and he had a little bit of arthritis in his spine. Actually, we did x-rays on him and all the rest of it. A Maine Coon that lives in Kildare. They're like giant breed dogs. They get the same types of arthritis as the very tall dogs because they're bred to be extra tall, so they'll get arthritis in their necks and spines, just like the giant dogs.
Okay.
I had one in for examination
Are they kind of... Are they one of these type of cats that you do have to look after regularly? You
have to look after them very carefully if you have one, yes, because they have a normal lifespan and all the rest of it, but they have a little bit few more congenital defects than an ordinary yard cat would.
Okay,
yeah,
right,
for sure.
Fair enough. And they're predominantly indoors anyway, are they?
Predominantly indoors anyway, yeah.
Did they even like going out with the butter?
They will if they get a chance, but they like their creature comforts. They'll come back in again, much more so than the yard cat might, Okay,
the yard cat is a different animal altogether.
Different animal altogether.
Literally.
Yeah.
Fair dues. Okay.
Will we, speaking of house cats, before we get off the topic of house cats,
go on.
Will we talk about how to stay safe if you have a house cat?
Yes, go on.
The things you need to do to keep yourself in your house, to manage good hygiene when you have a house cat. Okay, so first of all, and this is something I would always drum into children, and it was drummed into us, I must say, we were kids, and I've never forgotten it, and I still do it, and it was the same when our children, when they were growing up. Always wash your hands after handling cats.
Yeah.
Always. Washing your hands, very important, right? Secondly, you do have to clean out and wash and refill that litter tray every single day.
Yeah.
Thirdly, you must deworm your cat very regularly, at least every 2 months.
Okay.
Fourthly, a new thing we can do, fecal exam. Now that's come over to us from the States. They're big into this. At the time of the annual exam, they'll be doing the blood tests and they'll be doing the stool tests. So we have machines now, the Oversight, which works on AI, and we can test a little bit of the cat's stools, and we can look for parasites, and we can look for worm eggs.
Okay.
So the fecal testing once or twice a year is really important, right? Lastly, wear gloves when you're handling the litter trays, emptying the litter trays and so on. Wear gloves, especially pregnant women.
Okay.
Really important.
Yeah, you often hear about stuff about pregnant women and cats. They don't really go together.
So during pregnancy, pregnant women are more susceptible to Cryptosporidium and Toxoplasma, and both of those types of infections which cats carry are harmful to the pregnancy, harmful to the fetus.
Okay.
So it's extremely significant. Okay, extremely serious.
That makes sense as well.
And a new thing that's come up in recent times as a big red flag: avoid feeding cats raw meat.
Okay.
And that is because...
what's your definition of raw meat? I mean, you mean raw meat as in raw steak and raw
chicken,
well, you wouldn't
in
do
particular,
that anyway,
actually.
Okay.
Raw chicken in particular.
Well, people actually do that, wouldn't you?
Listen, I don't agree with it, but there's a trend, there's a movement out there towards feeding pets raw, on the grounds that raw is more natural. But in fact, their digestive systems nowadays are no more attuned to eating raw meat, raw chicken, raw fish, whatever it is. Yeah. No more attuned to it than you or I would be. Yeah. They have a modern, sensitive digestive system. And anyway, raw meats have all kinds of bugs on them that are harmful to us. Yeah. In having raw chicken on your counter and leaving it there is a no-no. Buying it to feed to your cat is a no-no, because your cat then could shed Giardia, Cryptosporidia, avian influenza, all of these things, avian flu, from the raw meat.
Yeah.
So it's just too dangerous.
But the simple thing with cat food is really, it's stuff like this type of stuff here.
Yeah.
And the gym cat stuff that you bring in as well. And keeping it simple as
There's
that.
There's a process.
And we would occasionally
it's a simple kibble.
We don't even have the tins, to be honest with you. We don't use tins of wet food at all. We do have an occasional sachet or pouch that you'd kind of mix it through, or you mix it occasionally or wherever else. Yeah. I think we do that more in the summer because we're kind of wary that there's no not as much rain or whatever else.
I produce a simple cooked diet there, which is safe as a house, and safe for your cat and safe for you to handle, and convenient. The gym cat dry food, that's the way to go. And mix a little bit of, you can use sardines, salmon, bit of tuna, bit of fish, whatever it is with it, or a nice high quality wet cat food if you wish. But dry is the way to go. It's healthier.
The problem with some of the wet cat foods is there's too much salt in them.
Too much salt in them, and can cause diarrhea, and can over time those wet foods can cause, too much of them can cause urinary tract infections and bladder issues.
Okay. Right, fair enough. What else are we on about there?
Yeah, good question. Well, the zoonoses is again, right? Parasitism is a big thing.
Okay, what's this?
Parasitism, all your worms. This is the reason why you do need to deworm your cat about 6 times a year. And by the way, the British Veterinary Association...
Is that the spot on again? Go back to spot on again.
Yeah.
Okay.
By the way, the British Veterinary Association did a study, and a big old survey throughout the UK, and they discovered, not surprisingly, 70% of cat owners admitted that 70% of cat owners didn't bring their cat to the vet throughout 2024.
Yeah, but that makes... Yeah, because cats... People react to...
You were saying it last week. The problem with them is that I can talk about preventative healthcare, but oftentimes cats being so secretive, we don't know what they need doing, and sometimes it's too late. So people can be reactive, which is a pity. They should be bringing them in for checkups.
Okay, but you know the way this time of the year when it comes to cats, and even dogs running around, but predominantly cats, they're after the dormice, and they're after all these type of things floating around, and the little birdies, and they're going after things, so they're hunting more. Is this the time, more so than any other time of the year, to give them the old spot?
Yeah, more often. I would nearly, if you have a cat that's partially indoors, partially outdoors, and there's a litter tray indoors, and the cat's indoors and in the bed and all that kind of stuff, at this time of year I would be deworming that cat which hunts once a month.
Yeah, once a month.
Oh, yeah.
Well, okay, very good. And it's just a little...
And remember, this is all about the human health risk, not the risk to the cat. Cats are amazing creatures. They're reservoirs for all of these bugs. Yeah. They can carry all of these things and they'll never be sick themselves in many cases, but there's a human health and a public health issue.
Okay, right, fair enough as well. Jamie was on, and James, sorry, not Jamie, it's 14-all, by the way, in the game now. James was on. He was just saying that he had a problem with one of his cats about a year ago back, where the cat was just coughing up mothballs, I think it's just hairballs all the time. How do you prevent that, especially this time of the year, because this is when the coats are actually molting?
You can buy supplements that help them pass oil-based and fibre-based, that help them pass these fur balls. But it's harmless enough. It's part of the cat's normal life cycle.
Even though if they're hawking away, they're not doing it's not doing any harm.
It's not doing them any harm, and they don't mind it. If you have a long-haired cat, get your long-haired cat groomed and dematted a few times a year, and that'll help. And it won't be so much hard work for the poor cat to shift all the excess hair off themselves. So you can assist the process with regular grooming, but I never worry about it too much, to be honest.
Okay. Does that mean that cats shouldn't... Mr. John was over on Old Corton Thigh. Does that mean cats shouldn't kill mice?
You can't stop them.
No, because that's just their nature, at least, yeah.
No, we talked about this before. The reason we domesticated cats, the reason humans domesticated cats is because they're useful to us in terms of keeping down the mice.
Yeah.
There's a utilitarian function. They were brought in not as pets initially, but as useful members of on the farm to keep the rats and mice away from the grain stores.
Yeah.
So hunting is part of their nature.
It is part of their nature. There's a couple of dead birds floating around our back garden at the moment,
You can't stop them hunting.
No.
I would say, if you're a cat owner, don't put out bird feeders. I don't like to see them decimating the native bird populations.
Right, okay.
So don't encourage them to kill birds. They don't need to kill birds.
No.
But by all means, they're out and about catching voles and dormice and keeping the rodent levels down.
And they bring them to you and leave them at the back door.
They leave them at the back door, yeah.
Of course they do.
Yeah, I reckon they feel sorry for us because they never see us hunting.
No, they're showing how clever they are. Yeah. Look what I did,
Look what I did.
Yes, that's what it is. That's what cats do. They actually brag to the fact
and they're very proud of themselves. You can tell by their body language when they drop them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I often, when our cat used to do it, probably last year, I haven't seen much of him bringing I see a couple of dead birds in the garden at the moment, but he'd come over to you, show you the old, the mouse or whatever he's caught and leave it at the step or somewhere around the backyard area. And when you go over to have a look at him and see what he's doing, he just rolls over on his back and says, "Thank me, Dad. Thank me, Dad."
Give me tummy rub.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because I'm brilliant. Now, here's another question for you. After coming in, what is wild cat virus and is it curable? What's a wildcat virus?
That's not a term I've heard before.
Okay.
No.
Somebody else needs to resend that in, maybe with a different part of the question.
Speaking of viruses, I'm going to tell you about one news story in the veterinary literature.
Maybe it's feral cat virus, is it?
Feral cat virus. Well, look, in terms of the feral cat population, there's a lot of cat flu out there. There's a kind of a cocktail infection that cats can get, which is Kalichi virus, herpes virus, and influenza virus, and it can kill kittens. It can kill very old cats that can be carriers for life. It's nasty enough. A hardy, well-fed kitten will get over it and shake it off and be healthy as an adult. So there are viruses out there. We can vaccinate against them, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
There's a new thing which has emerged in the veterinary literature recently. Upstate New York, as you can imagine, big cat shelters, big wild kind of feral urban cat population in New York City, and these cat shelters have identified a thing they're calling FARS. Now, you've heard of SARS. Now, this is FARS, which stands for feline acute respiratory syndrome, right? And the problem with it is it's really severe. Their lungs fill up with fluid. It's killing them very quickly. And it's a cocktail. It's a combination of Kalichi virus and herpes virus. And they reckon it's a more severe version of herpes virus than the one that we've been vaccinated cats against already for the last 30 or 40 years. So that potentially could be bad news. FARS, haven't seen it in Ireland yet. Hopefully we won't. But it's just a reminder to everybody to be sure and vaccinate your cat once a year, because whatever chance they have of getting over it, they need to be vaccinated.
Yeah, that makes sense as well. Okay, well done and dusted for today. Thanks for coming in to us, my man. There's another couple of questions after popping in literally. Okay, good morning. Any chance you can ask the vet about my dog? He's 15 or 16. Yeah, but ask him what? Can you finish off the question?
15 is very old for any type,
or maybe
for any type of dog, isn't it?
Yeah.
15 to 16 is right up at the top, up at the upper end of it. We often say here that nowadays the smaller breeds in particular are living great long lives.
Yeah.
Thankfully. Saw one in this morning, lovely little fella, Jack Russell, with one eye.
Jack,
in for
Jack, the one-eyed Jack Russell.
The one-eyed Jack Russell called Jack, and he's 14 and a half.
Right.
And he's going strong.
Yeah.
He's in great form.
Are animals generally, and the likes of dogs, are they lasting longer these days? Was mortality improved?
Yeah, mortality's improved. We have a great range of multivitamins and immune boosters and things we can give them to help them live longer. We're encouraging people to get them onto senior diets after about the age of 10, which has the extra minerals and vitamins that they need. They're living longer because we're able to keep their heart and lung and liver and kidney functioning longer.
Yeah, okay. Follow on there from our friend Tony. I think it is Tony. It is Tony. He said the problem is he's 15 and a half or 15, 16, 15 and a half. He is staying awake now at night and he's barking all the time.
That's cognitive decline.
Okay, cognitive decline.
Dementia, in other words.
Is it?
It is. It is. It needs a trip to the vets, needs to go on something for that. There would be a supplement that contains a few of the important amino acids that his brain needs.
Right.
And get him on the right supplement. There's one in particular called NutraMind. He needs to go on a supplement to improve his alertness, improve his brain function and improve the blood. So we can do that, we can help him. NutraMind as a supplement to get it in the morning, and then you want to regulate or reset his body clock a little bit. So he needs something like gabapentin or trazodone at night to calm him down and encourage him to sleep.
Okay, brilliant. So if he does that, then he'll be less stressed.
He'll be less stressed. He'll be a happier dog, and the goal would be not necessarily for him to live longer, but to live with a better quality of life for the time that's left.
Okay, well done. On that note, we finish up for today's It's a Pets Live with thanks to Jim Dog, and Des will be podcasting this a little bit later on this afternoon here on Kildare's KFM. Thank you, James.
It's a Pet's Life with Jim Dog, Ireland's first pet resort by Des the Vet, managed by vets, loved by pets. Daycare, vet care, premium pet food and grooming. Visit at petslife.ie.
I have no idea who James is, and that's why I was saying thank you, James. James doesn't exist in my brain, so I don't know where James came from.
Did the owner not say it was James?
Huh?
Did the owner not say it was James?
No, Tony O'Brien and Apple. So my apologies. I don't know where James came from, but there you go. That was Des.